So ladies and gentlemen, we've got another Batman 2021 movie update today. A lot of you have been asking me to post more Batman videos, but I only kind of want to make one when there's stuff of substance to talk about. And as you guys know, with the Batman really getting into the swing of things now for actually creating the film, such as a whole bunch of news for the upcoming roles for Catwoman, the Riddler, who might even be played by Jonah Hill if he decides to be the Penguin, of course Two-Face, Mad Hatter, Firefly, all of that is to come. I mean, for all I know when I'm uploading this video, I really wouldn't be surprised if something like that is coming out anytime right now. But this video, as you're probably telling by the title, is that everyone is talking about this kind of new Forbes article where they detail some upcoming plans from Warner Brothers, some that are very, very interesting and have been even rumors for, honestly years now. And so, trust me guys, you want to stick around for this video, and also I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I'm going to say, just because, it surrounds Nightwing, obviously Dick Grayson, Batgirl's involvement, and this whole Batman universe that could be, treading forth in this kind of new ground rather than the DCEU. So as we know so far, the Batman has tapped Jeffery Wright as Commissioner Gordon, with him even retweeting Matt Reeves on the day all of this broke, with like a monocle emoji, if that isn't giving enough. Like, I don't think anything has been officially signed yet. The same applies for Jonah Hill. But it's like pretty much a done deal that, unless something goes horribly wrong, Jeffrey Wright is going to be our new Commissioner Gordon, who is far away from J.K. Simmons, if anyone is wondering about this interconnectivity between the DCEU, which we will actually touch upon in this video. I know some people still don't like me talking about this in terms of Boba. It's so obvious that this isn't connected, but there is still, believe it or not, there is still chatter out there that this is meant to be a Batfleck prequel when every freaking sign is pointing that way, whereas the DCU is that way. And also the reason why I'm teasing this now in terms of the whole Batfleck DCU stuff with the Batman 2021 is because there is some more details about that connectivity or lack of connectivity in this article, which you should stay tuned for. But as always guys, as well, it's quite an interesting read, so I'll leave the link down in the description below just in case you want to check it out for yourself. But enough of me blabbering on about what we already know recently. This Forbes article goes on to talk about this Bat-like world where Reeves is obviously taking his time to ensure everything is right and the foundations are built for this movie, which I completely agree with. You want to do this right now, whether you're looking at the early DCU, what's been done with the Batman character, whether you love Batfleck, where you love this part, where you love the Snyder era, like no matter what, there have been hiccups here and there with the way things have been structured, and whatever. Warner Brothers and Matthew Reeves want to get this goddamn right. They want to solidify a really solid foundation. Solidify and solid. There you go. And funnily enough, I spoke about this kind of rumor of a Gotham cinematic universe a while ago. And I'm not saying this is true at all, especially with the way that kind of rumor was spun. But it reminds me of what this article is saying in a similar way, that Reeves will of course be making the trilogy of Robert Pattinson's Batman films, but there will also be opportunity for the world he creates with this Batman to continue sustaining itself for many movies going forward, which, is very, very interesting to hear about and kind of fleshes out that kind of tease or like whispers that were flowing around a little while ago of what if this kind of sets up this overarching world which could spin on for multiple movies. And that is exactly what we're getting to right now. And you may be wondering about what other movies can be included with the setup of this trilogy from the Batman. And this is where things begin to get even more interesting. And to be honest, what I even wanted to tackle in this video, because it speaks of things that we've heard about, which is weird to say for years now, because it's expected that the upcoming Batgirl film project will be tied into this new established Bat world. So if you aren't aware already, there's been whispers for years about multiple different films in development or early pre-production or concept stage, whatever you want to say it, in terms of Batgirl, but not only Batgirl, but also Nightwing. Now this goes back way into the early Snyder era, and in this article where they're talking about quite a bit of inside knowledge within the industry about, obviously sources and scoops of what could be happening and going on with the Batman movie, that's where all of this is coming from, that the delayed Nightwing movie has to wait until the the status of being Batman's sidekick has been settled. And also this article states from what the writer has heard within the industry that Dick Grayson is expected to make an appearance in one of the Reeves movies, probably in the form of an origin story. And this also brings in the many questions you guys have even asked me about, will we see a Robin in any of the Batman or Matt Reeves' Batman movies? And I've always said to that, I think so, but I don't really want to see it in the first film. Or if, you know, for example, Dick Grayson is to be introduced, bring him in at the tail end of the first movie as Robin, and then obviously they still want to go full steam ahead at some point, probably in the somewhat relative far future from now, a Nightwing movie, but carrying that on from this Bat world. So Robert Pattinson's Batman can kind of have his own solidified thing in the first movie, and then that Batman with the new Robin can helm the second film onwards. That would just make the most sense to me. And we also can't forget how this Bruce Wayne is in his early formative years of being the Batman, and this is all just fascinating to me anyway. The talk of a further Bat universe with this Reeves trilogy. I really do think that Warner Brothers has kind of dropped this whole connectivity thing now. There's been talk about that for quite a while, but they kind of care about just making good movies now. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're going to continue the DCU stuff with Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, the next Shazam, and all of that good stuff. But when it comes to this, they know they've got something good, and I don't think they're going to be pulling the puppet strings on Reeves. I don't really think there's many puppet strings attached to him, if any at all. They want him to have a clear vision, a clear thing, so it's not disturbed, and so that it's sewn very well, and the fruits of that will go on to be like a Batgirl movie and a Nightwing movie. But this, as I said, is quite a long way away. It's also very interesting because they also mentioned in this article about how they do very much so plan to tie the Batgirl film project in this world as well, but that was kind of, you know, very loosely said, just like the Dick Grayson stuff. So to be honest, in terms of Batgirl, it brings in all kinds of things to my mind in terms of how old is she going to be? Does this mean that she could become Batgirl in one of the 3 movies? Or are they just going to do a thing where they're going to introduce her character, because obviously we're going to have Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, so it's kind of a no-brainer that we're probably going to see his family, or whether she is his daughter or whether she's his niece. You know, I'm probably going with daughter here, but maybe we might not even see her suit up as Batgirl at all. But with this talk of this Bat world being established with these movies to be sustainable for many, many movies going forward, to be honest, hearing about all of this has me a little bit confused as to how they'll approach it. I think, as I've already said, Robin would be the most simple and straightforward way to go, whether that's introducing his origin story in one of the movies and then making him a Robin, and then, you know, that hints at Nightwing in the future so they can do that Nightwing movie. But Batgirl as well, I don't think she should necessarily even suit up, but obviously she would be introduced as Barbara Gordon, whether through we see her in a scene with Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon, but I think it would be a bit strange, and maybe it feels a little bit oversaturated and too forced of a thing to make sure we have these connections in this movie on top of Dick Grayson, but not only now him, but Barbara Gordon as well, to make sure we can make those movies in the future that have been delayed, like Batgirl and Nightwing. Just stick with one of them for now, maybe have a cameo or 2 or 3 of Barbara Gordon, and then that way you can have a scene with Robert Pattinson and her, maybe in the 3rd movie after a few scenes in the 1st and 2nd movie. You could have a few nods from Robert Pattinson to her, or maybe she finds out his identity, and, you know, I wouldn't mind it being explored in that way. But if you're going to have Dick Grayson training as a Robin, I don't think you should have necessarily Barbara Gordon, you know, in there as well. It would just feel a bit too much. So maybe in the Batgirl film project, you know, going forward, we could see in this Bat world that is being spoken about now, Robert Pattinson's Batman's character obviously involved in that, and that's how that film kind of goes forward there, rather than that all happening within this trilogy. But that's mainly the news for this video, guys. I just wanted to let you know about this talk of this Bat world. Dick Grayson will be appearing. Apparently they really want to tie the Batgirl character in the film, the upcoming film, into this, you know, trilogy. You know what I'm going to ask you guys? I would love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Just what do you think in terms of what I've spoken about? Would you like to see Dick Grayson involved? I think that's fine. I think a lot of you are going to say that's fine as well. Maybe you think he should be in the first film, but maybe you think, like me, he should be saved till the kind of tail end and then kind of utilized and capitalized on in the 2nd and 3rd. But what about Barbara Gordon on top of that? Do you really think that she should be weaved in? if she should. Do you agree with me in how if they're going to do that, don't have her train and suit up as Batgirl like straight away alongside Dick Grayson, but maybe have scenes where, you know, Bruce Wayne is exposed as Batman to her, and then she has to kind of keep that secret, and then they have this kind of unique relationship outside Gordon knowing about it. I think that would be a really smart way to go, but hey, this is just one man's thoughts, so let me know yours down in the comments below. Of course, everyone, if you're not subscribed already, do subscribe to this channel to never miss out on a Batman update video, a breakdown and topical discussion. You know what I turn these into. I love brainstorming about it, and I'm sure you guys just love talking about it as well. So, you know, make sure you're involved by hitting that subscribe button. Like this video if you did enjoy it, as it really does show support for the channel. Check out my last couple of videos that I think you will enjoy right here. Follow me on social media and check out my Discord link in the description down below, so you can talk about the Batman anytime with me in my Discord server. I'm pretty active in there. But that is everything. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, Bat family, in the next video. Goodbye.